really started with, oh, fuck, hang on. I left some soup on the stove and my fucking, hang on.
Pam.
Today, is there anything worse than when, like, you have like a bag over your shoulder and then you go to do something, like you lean down and the bag slips down into your arm? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like you remember when you were in high school and you thought that like people with two straps were super lame, but in retrospect they were way smarter than you.
Yeah, you wanted to look cool, but you were miserable the entire time
Yeah, it
you
was
were
just
doing
falling
it.
right in the crease of your elbow, and like you can't really do anything else other than like shove it back up, and it won't get all the way up on your bicep and won't get all the way up
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
shoulder. It's fucking miserable. Or like, so I don't have a proper carry on like roller bag. I use a duffel bag in my backpack because I like my duffel bag. But it
Yeah.
makes it absolutely impossible. Like wearing two straps on one shoulder does not work.
No, it's awful.
Why were you thinking about
Um,
that?
well, because so someone broke into my car recently
What?
in Denver and
That makes
stole like
sense.
a bunch of stuff out of my car.
Hmm.
And they stole my lunchbox, so I got a new one, and it's like an igloo one. And I was coming in, I had like groceries and shit when I was coming in, and I
Yeah.
had like the thing on my arm. I was trying to open my back door, and it did that. It did that thing where it slipped off my arm. So then it fucked up the whole me trying to open the door and the groceries I was holding. I was like irrationally angry about
Wait, you
it.
carry a lunchbox with you?
Yeah,
That's all I got
yeah.
out of that.
I eat really healthy,
Does
so I
Shania
gotta.
pack
I
your
gotta.
lunch for you every day?
No, I pack it the night before. I get my pre-workout ready. I get my lunch ready. I get my breakfast smoothie ready. I'm ready to go, dude. From day one,
Man, you're just
day
such an
zero.
you're such an adult now. I'm so proud of you.
I know it's this is what homeownership does to
It's
people.
going to be great now that Christian isn't on the episode. We're just going to be super nice to each other. People,
Yeah,
people are going to fucking hate it.
yeah. Okay, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're your hosts, Blake and Trey, and this is Totally Biased Music. And if you're wondering why it seems as if we're missing a host, unfortunately, our friend Christian went in for penis enlargement surgery today and had some tragic complications. He may not make it out.
Yeah,
So,
he might be dead. We're not really sure. We're
yes,
waiting to hear from
we're
his
not
mom and his
sure.
brother. They're at the hospital right now. So we really hope that everything's all right. Christian, you're in our thoughts and prayers if you get to listen to this episode. We really hope the
He would
best for
want us.
you.
He would want us to push through.
He
The
really would.
last thing he did say to us was, "I'm tired of being cucked. I want to be the one cucking." So we hope that his surgery is successful and he makes it out of this.
But for real,
Um,
Christian is actually not here with us, and you want to rattle off some excuses as to what he would like actually say why he's not here.
yeah, let's do. I lost the adapter to my microphone would probably be one I could see him using.
I feel like he would go
Um,
simple and be like, "I've got COVID."
yeah, COVID would be a good one. Which doesn't really excuse doing a podcast that we do over the computer, but he wouldn't think about that. He
Right?
wouldn't think
No, he
about
never
that.
would have gotten there.
No. Tied up at work. That'd probably be a good one.
Had to take my roommate to the airport. I feel like he would do
Yep.
that. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the saga of Christian Bales.
Christian
You know,
Bales took us like
Christian
25
Bales.
years to come up with that joke.
Christian Bales in The Dark Knight Rises.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
so today we are reviewing the highly anticipated, um, highly loved, I guess would be the word.
I was
I
gonna
don't
say
even know.
disgust maybe.
Discussed, highly discussed. Midnights by Taylor Swift, her 10th studio album. And we don't listen to Taylor Swift. This was probably my first run through of a Taylor Swift album in 10 years, I would say. But a quick intro. This is from Apple Music. On Midnight's her 10th LP and fourth in as many years, if you don't count the two she just re-recorded with dozens of additional tracks. Swift sounds like she's really enjoying her work, playing with language like kids do with gum, thrilling to the texture of every turn of phrase, the charge in every melody and satisfying rhyme. Alongside a longtime collaborator Jack Antonoff, she set out here to tell, quote, The stories of 13 sleepless nights scattered throughout her life, as she phrased it in a message to Apple Music subscribers. It's a concept that naturally calls for a nocturnal palette, slower tempos, hushed atmosphere, and negative space like night sky. So that is the intro to Midnights. I would like to just set the record straight now. During the whole Kanye-Taylor debacle, I was always Team Taylor. I want our listeners to know that.
So this is 4 episodes we've mentioned Kanye and 4 episodes we've put out. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm keeping count of this.
Okay, well, I just want people to know whose side I was on. I want to be on the right side of history, even if it means lying.
Listen,
you know?
I was also on Kanye's side. I don't think he did anything wrong still, he's just proud of the music video that he made.
The Single Ladies music video is one of the greatest of all time. You can't deny that.
I don't deny it. It's a great music video. And it's arguably definitely better than whatever she won for, right?
I don't even remember what she won for.
No
she was
one
like
does.
12 at the time.
But everyone remembers Single Ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I can't say that this is the first Taylor Swift album I've listened to. I actually really genuinely enjoyed Folklore. It's pretty good. It came out.
Which one was that?
It came out during the pandemic, so it's 2020. It has a little woodsy cover, and it's super stripped down.
Oh, Evermore?
No,
Evermore?
That's the second one. So she did Evermore. That was kind of like a B-side. Folklore was the first one. I even had that CD. I bought the CD. That's how much I liked it, because I had a car at the time that could only play CDs. And I had it my stick shift Outback that I had to sell, and when I sold that Outback, which I really wish I wouldn't have, the last thing I listened to was that Bon Iver track. It's called Exile or something. I don't know. It's really nice. It's super stripped back. It's just kind of singer-songwriter stuff, which I've been enjoying a lot recently anyway. So I can't say that I have a disdain for Taylor Swift. I kind of think she's all right,
Yeah, I think the last album I listened to was 1989, and damn, that was 2014. That was 8 years ago.
I mean, that's dog shit. All that stuff's terrible.
Yeah, and I think that's why I didn't listen to anything after. I did not enjoy it. I do like Blank Space. That song fucking bangs.
Yeah, that song's good.
Okay, so with Midnights, I know normally we do a first time you heard it, first time you listened to it, but that with it being released literally 4 days ago, what were when you first listened to it all the way through? What were your impressions of it? What did you think upon first listen?
So, I enjoy it. I can listen to it. It's not unbearable like some pop music where I'm I can't listen to this at all. The first song has kind of a housey vibe, so I kind of thought it was gonna go, because Beyonce just put out that new album that's really house music heavy, and Drake put out that new album that's really house music heavy. So I was okay, maybe pop music is kind of moving in that direction. As I've gotten older, I've really started to enjoy house music because I don't have to really move much to dance to it, and it's kind of
happens.
Yeah, it's a little brain massage. My neck, my back, mainly it's my back. It hurts pretty bad all the time. So I was, I've really started to like house music, but
that's understandable.
It did not carry on that way. I thought it was fine. I think there's probably 3 or 4 songs I'd listen to on a playlist or something. But after my 2 listens through to prepare for our episode today, I don't think I'll ever listen to this album again.
What are your thoughts? That's fair. My first, my initial thought was, I had 2 initial thoughts. One was, this is the Billie Eilish effect. That's what I call this album. The sound that she has here with the Jack Antonoff production, which he does great. The production on the album is the highlight by far.
Agreed.
But this is after Billie Eilish became what she was with that album, whatever that album was, her second full album. She made this sound that is really prevalent throughout this album, specifically this Taylor album. Just this reverb, heavy bass, heavy drums type of pop music that doesn't sound like pop music. The Billie album was When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Okay.
I don't know if you listened to it, but that's the vibe that I get from this album, and kind of pop music is going in that direction, especially with female singers. They all kind of are using this sound now. it really started with, oh fuck, hang on, I left some soup on the stove and my fucking, hang on,
Pam.
I'm actually going to have to edit that out. I don't normally edit.
You're going to have to cut that. Yeah, because like I tried to kind of make some jokes on my own for a minute, and then like it was still just like 30 seconds of just dead-ass quiet air.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to have to actually edit that out. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, the Billie Eilish effect. That's kind of the sound this has. Also, the second impression I got is that she swears now, which I think is very cool. I would like to say this is what happens when the dirtbag left takes over this country. Now Taylor Swift is swearing. Like, this is exactly what Bernie would have wanted.
Has she? You're not wrong. Has she never sworn on an album before?
No, I don't think she has in anything.
Surely she's cursed. There's no way. I need a fact check on that.
Not like this, dude. I mean, she's using the F word in some songs. Like, none of these. Yeah, there's not an explicit label on any of these.
That's
albums.
not true. That's not true. In Folklore, she says something. It's like a song about someone named Betty. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the lyrics of that song because it's actually really fucking good.
Oh, it's called Betty. Yeah, it does say explicit.
Yeah. I think she says "fuck" in there or something.
So maybe she has sworn on albums before, and I missed it.
But she swears a lot. She swears a lot, and like it's very like prominently pronounced. It's not like hidden behind anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of like they say in that intro, like she's like playing with swear words. She's like learning how to use them.
Yeah. No, pretty much.
Which I think is funny.
That is funny.
So yeah, those are my first impressions of it.
I've never really listened to Billie Eilish much, but I kind of got some like pure heroin, like Lorde type vibes from this. With kind of like it's pretty bass forward with the production, which I actually really enjoyed it. Kind of knocked in my car. Sounded pretty good.
There are some songs for sure that hit really heavy, which we can talk about when we talk about songs we actually like.
Which I can't believe that I'm, saying that a Taylor Swift song knocked in my car, but here we are. This is
Well, Pure Heroin is. I'd really love to do an episode on Pure Heroin. Actually, that's like the best version of
this sound.
All of that, that sound.
That album's so good.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. Okay, with that being said, what are your bottom 3 tracks on the album?
I would probably say anything that's not Labyrinth, Vigilante Shit, Lavender Haze, or the Lana Del Rey track. I think every other song would be in my bottom section, but those songs I really liked.
Okay, that's fair. Also, where is Lana Del Rey on that song?
She's like
what was her contribution?
She's doing like the hook, like a hook, and like they're like harmonizing on a hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a theory that Taylor invited her to the wrong beach.
Okay.
So they went to the beach, and then Lana never showed up, so she just made the song without her. That was kind of my impression because I didn't hear her at all. So maybe I'm just not paying enough attention. I
think this song is about them doing cocaine on the beach. And that's why she got to stay up to midnight that night. Because, every song is about a time that she stayed up to midnight, which I have a theory that Taylor Swift's only stayed up to midnight 13 times in her entire life. And she's a very, very strict 9 p.m. bedtime type of girl. So I think her and Lana were blasting some fat gaggers on the beach, having a good old time.
Yeah, I think that actually adds up. I didn't think about that, but that's pretty, that's a pretty spot on observation. Because I can definitely see her like staying up to midnight is such a big deal to her that she has to write music about it.
Exactly.
Because she's never done it before.
No, exactly.
I also think it's funny she has a 3 a.m. edition of this album, which means there were even some nights she stayed up later.
No, I think she's exaggerating there. Well, think about it. All jokes aside, she's been famous since she was 15, and like not just famous, but like one of the biggest names in the world. Yeah. She's just so overmanaged and like, Yeah. So I bet she does have a bedtime of 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah, somewhere around there, especially when she's on tour, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight to bed after the tour.
Straight to bed.
Yeah, it is interesting that you bring that up about like how big she was from such an early age, because I don't want to people give her a really hard time for her music being kind of repetitive and always about like some boy or some relationship or whatever. But like, she was a 15 and 16-year-old girl going, like, her teenage years were spent writing music. And that's kind of what you would expect someone that age to write about, right? Like, even Lorde does it to a degree in Pure Heroin. She does it a lot better and a lot differently. But it's like, what do you expect of an artist of this caliber at this age to be writing music about? Like, I think it's kind of
I hate that critique because like 95% of all music is about some form of romantic something or another. Now her always being the victim thing, like I think that's a bit of a trope, but I mean like that's kind of just like her subject matter.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like if you don't like the subject matter, that's fine, but don't
listen to something else. Listen, we're not here to hate on Taylor Swift for this episode. You know, Christian were here, it'd be a different story. We're not here, listen, we're going to let people enjoy what they enjoy. Musically, it's not the best. You know, I'm not going to pretend that it is. Is it probably written by a massive team of writers, even though she's always said she writes her own music? Yeah, for sure. There's a team. There's a team of writers and a major music label behind this. But, you know, if it brings some people joy, I'm not here to shit on it. Right. Yeah. And like, I guess I should say my bottom tracks real quick. I don't like the last track, Mastermind. I don't like Labyrinth. I really don't like You're on Your Own, Kid. I don't know what the hell is going on in that song. And Question, I don't understand that song. Like, is it about a guy kissing Taylor Swift and then people making fun of him? Or is it about like her kissing a girl? I don't know what's going on in that song. I'm really confused about the whole thing. All I know is she stayed up till midnight that night. So that much we know, but the rest of the song, I tried listening to it twice and like, man, I'm just not deep enough to get what's happening. But the whole thing was really confusing for me. Well, and that's kind of a critique that I have with a few of these songs is like, listen, Taylor, you're not a write cryptic lyrics type of person. Okay. That's not a range. That's not a range that's available to you. You need to just tell people a story. Okay? Right. Just give it to me how it is. Yeah. You know? We don't need symbolism. That's just not going to be for you. Right. So some of these songs are like that. Like, yeah, this song makes no sense. It's just kind of almost nonsensical. Yeah. It's really strange. And that's coming from a guy who's one of my favorite Fish songs is Meat Stick. So like, so then it's confusing. Exactly. Well, it's kind of like Billie Eilish has that song "Wish You Were Gay," and what people try to say it is her talking about how she wishes a guy was gay, so that was why she was being rejected. But if you go listen to the song, it's clearly like she's gay, and she's talking about a girl that's not gay, and like. There were pictures that came out like shortly after her and like another girl in like a romantic setting. So then it was like pretty obvious that's what the song was about. And I feel like Taylor was trying to go some cryptic shit with this song. And it missed the mark. It missed the mark, bro. Bad. Remember when everyone freaked out about Frank Ocean and Thinking About You? That was fun. That was a fun time in our lives. Yeah, it was. And then, like, for Frank Ocean to come out, he played, what was it, like the Grammys or, like, the MTV Awards or whatever, and played, like, the gayest possible song he has, Forrest Gump, which I think is hilarious. He's like, if anybody has a question about whether I am or not, I'm going to go ahead and play this song. I'm just going to play Forrest Gump on the national stage, and you guys can just you can figure it out. Right. Oh, yeah, because he had, like, the visualizer where it was like he was, like, running, right? Like, the screen was in front of him. Right. Yeah. Or am I like misremembering that with that Bonnaroo set that was not good? Oh, don't get me started on that. So Do not get me started on that. Okay, so do you have a top three? You kind of mentioned it, but what were your? I'll run back through it. So I actually wrote Labyrinth, Snow on the Beach, and Lavender Haze. I actually think Lavender Haze is a phenomenal song. I really, really liked it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like this whole album's going to be like that. So a little disappointed afterwards, but yeah, I think Lavender Haze is bomb. That's like my favorite song on here for sure. What about yours? Yeah. I really like Lavender Haze. It's a great intro track. Vigilante shit is hard as hell. It's really good. Just that song in my car in particular hits real fucking hard. Agreed. And I like it a lot. So Vigilante shit. And then I also like Anti-Hero. I know it's like the single, like kind of used for videos and promotion, whatever. But I do like it. I like that song.
So those are probably my top three.
For like someone who's as big as this, I know there was a lot of like promotion. It's probably just not like in my algorithm. You know what I mean? But I feel like this didn't have as much like advertisement and stuff as some of her other stuff has in the past. And I think they've probably just learned she doesn't need it. Like every single person that I know was talking about this album on Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah.
My entire family is basically listens to Taylor Swift.
Right.
So yeah, I think they've kind of figured that part out.
It is a little crazy to me. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's like really fucking nuts to me how much this album is carried just by like essentially like word of mouth, right? Like it is word of mouth via social media, but like it was all over my like Twitter feed, Instagram, everybody was talking about it. It sold 193 mil, it was streamed 193 million times in the first day. It was the highest selling single day album for a female artist ever in the history of streaming. And like, you're right. I didn't see much promotion. I mean, I'm sure people knew it was coming, right? But like for it to be carried that hard and that many people talking about it, that's insane levels of success. Like
she did like an announcement on Thursday Night Football last night where I think that's when she announced that she was doing the 3 a.m.s. I mean, it's here's the deal. The 3 a.m. edition is literally, it's just 4 bonus songs. It's just
right.
It's 4 B-sides or no, it's like 6, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's well, it's insane to reach that level of fame. It's like, I don't know if so when Eminem released Revival, like he did a full promo and shit for that, and obviously it turned out terribly, and everybody hated it. And so he started dropping like Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By were just dropped like basically just randomly during the night. He would just release the album. And I think there's something about those releases that people feel more inclined to listen to it, more inclined to give it like a fair chance because they don't have any like preconceived notion going into it, right? It's like the album drops, they see the track list, and it's like they can't really judge the track list before hearing the album. It's like because they're released at the same time. And so I think there is something to those types of releases where if you're that level of fame, it works, right? Like somebody like a smaller rapper like Lil Baby could never do something like that because he doesn't have that level of fame. But people like this can get away with stuff like that, and it works out for him. It's kind of impressive, to be honest.
And I think a big part of that is like people wanting to be involved in like the moment, right? It's like, oh, the new Eminem, kind of like we're gonna talk about House of Dragon later. Like, and people want to watch it week by week so they can be a part of the discussion. And especially with someone like Taylor Swift. I mean, hell, that's why we're doing this. When it really boils down to it, that's why we're reviewing this album this week. It's like we kind of want to contribute to that conversation, or at least that's why I wanted to talk about it. And I also want to wanted to make myself listen to it too, and I probably wouldn't have if we didn't decide to review it.
No, I feel that for sure. So the album review-wise, Pitchfork gave it a 7.
That's another thing too, is she is like loved by critical people, which is it blows my mind. She's a major pop star. Pitchfork should be shitting on her. And they're like, no, she's great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
You would think this would be the prime artist that they would be like, yeah, no, we're too good for this. But so they're like, yes.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. So they gave it a 7. The headline is more interested in setting atmosphere than chasing trends. Taylor Swift's 10th album pursues a newly subdued and amorphous pop sound. And a lot of the theme in this review and the majority of the reviews is they talk a lot about the production with Jack Antonoff, of course, which is, that synth pop sound that we talked about. So people are obviously going to talk about that, but they kind of land on this theme of her basically finally at the age of 32, like kind of coming into herself in this journey that she's been on to the point where she has basically thrown her hands up and been like, look, this is who I am, right? Like, this is what you're going to get. You're going to like it. You're not going to like it, but like, this is who I am as a person. And you can kind of hear that in songs like Vigilante Shit. And it is a little like beat to death to me. Like, it's almost like when somebody keeps talking so much about how they're over their ex, where it's like, you're clearly not, right? Like, a lot of the theme is like, yeah, like I don't care if people think this is who I am, but it's like you just wrote like 18 songs about it. So it's like, yeah, I feel like it does kind of get to you, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
but she does do it in like a good way.
No, and like the thing is, I think that's just kind of a trendy concept right now. Anyway, it's like not caring what people think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it probably polls quite well with what is it with market research groups. And so her label's probably like, yes, this is the narrative we would like to run.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Okay, so that was the Pitchfork review. This is really going to blow your mind. The Rolling Stone review, 5 stars, and they gave it the instant classic label on the review. Instant classic. Taylor Swift lets us into her darkest dreams on midnights. Her 10th album returns to the dazzling synth pop of records like 1989 and Reputation, with lyrics caught between a love story and a revenge plot. So, like you said, man, the critical acclaim for Taylor is crazy. And we've talked before about how Rolling Stone, like the album reviews that we've talked about with like J. Cole, with the Carter 3, how they're like a paragraph or 2 paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
This is like 2 pages of a review about this album. Like craftily going into how each track like plays against the other one and the production of each and how they sent, like they went fucking balls to the wall for this review. And it almost feels like what we're doing. It's like they're just trying to capitalize on the fact that people love her so fucking much.
Yeah, because once again, we're here to sell out, quit our day jobs, and do this full time. So like we'll do whatever we got to do to get people on here.
Right.
Conspiracy theorist Trey here, which I know you're going to love this, but it's almost like maybe there's just a lot of money behind this artist, and maybe that money's going to some major music publications owned by the same company that's really pushing a narrative that it's legitimately good music.
Right, exactly. And I've said
maybe they've tricked me too, and now I'm thinking there's 4 good songs on here, but actually there's no good songs on here, and I'm just like lying to myself.
Right. No, and that is like, to me, it's not even really a conspiracy. Like, they do this with Drake. Like, this has been Drake's entire career, right? Like, he is a behemoth when it comes to making money for the music industry, right? Everywhere he goes, if he goes to festivals, if he tours, like his albums that he releases, he's just this fucking, like, he's like a rocket that just refuses to stop. And so people cash in on that, right? Like, that album he came out with, honestly, Nevermind, that House album that everybody fucking hated except for J. Cole, weirdly enough. Rolling Stone gave it a 4.5. And it's like, that album's not a fucking 4.5. And there's no world in which that album is a 4.5. But there is an argument to be made.
I'd give it a 4.5. I give it like a 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, he gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just no world where that's a reasonable review. And they, like you said, I think they're just trying to get people to commit to these massive artists because they're just a money-making machine for probably, honestly, thousands of people if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
yeah. I mean, if not more.
Yeah.
Thousands seems like a good range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these other 2 publications, they don't have a number attached to it, but I did find it interesting. Wall Street Journal and New York Times both wrote articles about it, which I don't think there's any better example of how big you are of an artist for like a publication like the Wall Street fucking Journal to write an article about your album.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really interesting.
No, that is quite interesting, and I'm sure they don't really write about the new like King Gizzard and the Wizard album, which they're
exactly.
They're playing in Asheville tonight, and I skipped it to do this podcast. So that's
commitment right there. And what was Christian's excuse? Botched surgery? You get a life.
Mom has kidney stones. Had to go to the
hospital. Yeah. Okay, so final rating. What do you give it?
I am going to give it a 5. I think it's perfectly fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really the only explanation I have. I don't have any words for this album other than like, that's fine. I wouldn't turn it off. If someone else turned it on, I wouldn't turn it off. You know, it's just
right.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. I was gonna say like around the same. I'd give it a 6 because I really like the production on it. Like I really, really enjoy it. It really starts to like pander. Like it starts to drag on towards the end. Everything after Vigilante shit to me, it's like I have no interest in listening to ever again. And that's 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. It's like I have nothing, and none of those songs do anything for me.
Yeah.
So like the good songs, like you said, Lavender Haze and Vigilante shit are really good, and the production is fucking great. And Jack Antonoff he did Lord albums, he did Billy albums, so he kind of carries that sound with him, like we talked about. And yeah, it's an average album. I'm not going to sit here and say it's shitty because it's not.
Yeah,
there are definitely highlights to it. I'm not going to pretend like I'm above enjoying those songs, but
now 5 or 6 years ago, would we have had such a nice, amicable discussion about this album? Probably
no
not.
Chance.
No chance.
No
We've been
chance.
Ruthlessly mean, but we've grown.
Yeah, right. We're super mature now.
We're super mature.
Apart from the dick jokes and the plethora of other things. We're pretty mature.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that was Midnight's.
Check it out if you want to. Don't check it out if you don't feel like it. There's really no reason to, unless you just really want to listen to some mid-tier pop music.
Yeah, and let us know what you think of our totally biased review, because that's about as biased as it gets right there. We didn't let the public fucking sway us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how true to ourselves we are.
And the thing is, like, we are selling out by doing something that we don't particularly enjoy because other people are talking about it, and we're okay with that.
Right. I'm going to blow up, act like I don't know nobody as soon as I can.
Except for my close friends and family.
Right.
I still remember them. But everybody else, I'm going to pretend like I never fucking met you. Guy I've hung out with 3 times at a show that I'm Facebook friends with. Don't
know your name.
Don't know your name. I mean, I already didn't remember your name to begin with, to be completely fair.
But now I'm going to be a dick about it.
Yeah, but now I'm just, Now I'm not going to be like, hey, man. I'm just going to be like, nah, get out of my face.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. That's the worst. That is the worst feeling in the world, when someone walks up to you that you know you're supposed to know.
It's awful.
And you cannot remember their name. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, we hung out for like 6 hours one night at Solasta. And you're just like, dude, I just don't.
Nothing. And it's worse because, like, I'm terrible with names. Like, people will tell me their name, and literally 30 seconds later, I'm like, nah, no chance I'm going to remember that. I did see this funny tweet that was like, how do guys learn each other's names? I never see them introduce themselves. And somebody responded was like, we wait for them to introduce themselves to somebody else.
Every time, baby.
That's just the way you got to do it sometimes.
What's the worst is when you've run into one person you don't know their name, and then you run into a second person that you don't know their name. And so then you have to be like, this is my friend. And then just hope that one of them says the other one's name first. You can't be like, this is my friend Blake. And then they're like, oh, I'm Jeff. You're like, this is my guy right here. And they're like,
yeah, this is my boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I want to move on to Housewives of the Dragon, because
Real Housewives of the House Dragon.
Yeah. Because I haven't watched the finale yet, but I have finally gotten to the root of why I don't like this show and why I do not think it's a good show.
All right. Because I disagree. I think it's a good show, and I like it.
Okay. My thing is, hang on, sorry. I'm going to have to edit this out. I can't text and talk at the same time.
Did your boss send you a text? Like, if it's anyone other than your boss, let's keep moving here.
Okay, so the reason I don't like it is because, to me, there doesn't exist any repercussions for the shit that's going on. Like, and what I mean by that is, in Game of Thrones, so much of that world they built was basically like the citizens of Westeros, the citizens in King's Landing, like the Dothraki. There were pieces of this puzzle that it seemed like what was happening had a genuine effect on people, right? Like that was a huge part. Everything that happens in House of the Dragon, it just exists within those people trying to rule this land. Like you don't really ever see, there's that one scene in episode 9 where they're crowning the new king where you see the citizens, but like apart from that, you rarely ever see anyone outside of this like dynamic that exists with these people. So it's like, so what if she becomes queen, or who gives a shit if he becomes king? Because who the fuck is it even affect? Like, you never see who it's affecting or what it's doing to the world as a whole. Like, the whole show exists inside of these families, and there's no, like, it doesn't seem like there's any genuine repercussions for the shit happening in the show. And it, like, to me, it lowers the stakes. It's like, why would I give a shit about this? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
for the vast majority of Game of Thrones, that's also true until you get kind of to the end seasons. Well, other than Daenerys, like, going through and like freeing all these people from Marine and all that. Yeah. So like, but like all the fighting between like Lannisters and the Starks and all that, that's all the same concept, but there's just more stories going on. So it feels like it's affecting the bigger world. And that's my main complaint about House of Dragon, is that like, it's just this one single family infighting. And so it feels really slow at times, because it's just like, kind of like what you said, like it's the, like, it gets kind of boring almost.
right.
And there's barely even real effect on them. It's just like, oh yeah, like we disagree on who's going to be the successor. I finished it. I thought the finale was okay. I didn't think it was great, but I mean, I think the show's good. It's not Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's not Game of Thrones. No. It's definitely not Game of Thrones. But it might be one day.
Yeah, I mean, it has potential. Look, the story writing is there, right? It has potential. And I get this is season 1. So, like, season 1 of Game of Thrones, looking back on it, wasn't that great of a season, like, in retrospect. But there's just, like, I don't know. It's, like, the one scene where it's, like, everyone knows her children are bastards. And then, like, the one guy who's, like, a potential leader for wherever is, like, says that they're bastards.
Driftmark.
Daemon, and then Daemon cuts his head off, and they're like, all right, later. And then they just move on. Like, no one, it's like, is there any fucking repercussions for this shit happening? Like, they get in a fight, he loses his eye, he steals that dragon. They're all like, all right, congrats on the dragon.
You're not wrong. I do, but there's like some characters that I absolutely love. Like, I think Daemon is sick. Like, not a good person, but like a cool character.
No.
Yeah. Like,
right. Yeah.
I think Aemond is really cool. Like, I want to see them fight eventually.
Hey, doesn't it get tired? Don't you get tired rooting for the anti-hero? You know?
Oh, nice tie-in.
Yes, yeah, I came full circle.
There we go. That's run that clap track. that was well done.
But yeah, like I said, it's just like, to me, I don't know. It's just not. It's not there for me. There we go. Crowd was a little delayed on that one. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. But I finally got to the root of why I don't like it. So that I don't like just being like, yeah, I just don't like the show. Like, I have to have a reason for it. And I think I finally found like what's bothering me about it. But season 2 has a lot of potential. The actors are great. The dragons are fucking sick, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it has all the structure of like what could be a really good show. But I think it's perfectly fine. Like, not perfectly fine the way the Taylor Swift album is, where I'm just saying that to be nice.
Right. Right. Yeah.
People are gonna listen to this, but did he like it? Did he not like it? I'm so confused.
Yeah, what was the verdict with this?
You know what really got me excited though is they ran the trailer for the new season of Succession right before the finale.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great. I still am behind a season, though. I didn't finish 3.
Dude,
yeah, I didn't finish 3.
It is awesome.
I really like that show.
I love that show. It's so ridiculous. Like, everything about it's preposterous. It's so funny.
Oh, it's insane. I love it. Okay, so let's talk rides or dies.
Okay.
Which I guess we're doing it without Crit. We're doing a segment without him. So he's only got himself to blame.
I'm not talking about his song. I'm only talking about your song.
Okay. I'll just only talk about your song.
Perfect. Cool.
So we'll start with your song, which is the Billy Strings song. Hang on. Long Journey Home by Billy Strings. This is a good song. Billy Strings is fucking great. He's a great artist, great live performer. bluegrass music for me, it's like I really like some of it. I really dislike some of it. That being said, I do really like this song, and I think in the right scenario, it definitely rides. Like he's kind of going in on this song. So I do like it, and I will give it a ride. It does have to be kind of a certain vibe when I listen to it, but when I do, it's good. I like it. It rides. So
I feel like that felt like there was a butt coming the entire time you were talking.
We were talking about we were watching Archer Vice the other day, and we watched that one. We were watching that one scene where they meet Slater, and he goes, "Where the hell is Gomez?" And then they both just sit there for a second. He's like, "Oh, it sounded like you were going to say something else after that." He goes, "Where the hell is Gomez?" Full goddamn stop.
I forgot about that. I never watch that show enough anymore.
Yeah, I still love it. I think Vice is definitely the best season. Okay. Anyway,
moving on to did you have a butt, or did it just seem like you had a butt?
No, cool. I didn't have a butt.
Sick. Yeah, Billy Strings is coming to Asheville, North Carolina this weekend. So doing 3 nights for Halloween. So I just figured I'd pick one of those songs, and that's the song he made. Him and his dad are putting out an album like November 12th, I want to say. And so that's
nice.
Like part of a two-part single or 2 singles that he just put out for it. So yeah,
very nice.
Long Journey Home by Billy Strings. So your song was I've Cooked Crack Before by Prof. Okay, I want to say prof like professor.
Yeah.
I gotta say, song rides. Song slaps.
I'm fucking shocked.
Dude, no.
I'm fucking shocked.
Really? No, the beat on this is sick. Like,
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it sounds like an early 90s hip hop beat, honestly. I think the lyrics are pretty funny, honestly.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah, they're funny. Yeah, it's fun. Like, this is good. This is very good.
Cool. I can get with that.
I do like this line. I would feel like such a pussy if I was rapping about cooking crack, but never did it when they looking back. Like, he's saying he really did cook crack before.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the whole song. Is I love the just like I would never let a dude mow my lawn, I'd never let a pussy write my songs. I love that line. Yeah, like the whole thing is just like, if I write it, I've actually done it before. Like exactly. I'm not like the rest of you.
Which is kind of what's this guy's story? I don't know anything about this dude.
He's just like a white rapper that kind of he played that he's
white?
That other song. Yeah, that other song that I showed you this past weekend, Andre the Giant, I'm getting bigger. Then when I told you were going to hate it, and you're like, this beat is fucking sick.
Yeah, you've grossly misappropriated misunderstood how much I would like this dude. Yeah,
but that's kind of like his whole shtick. It's kind of like not serious music, but it just like kind of goes really hard. So he's got some good songs.
Yeah, I don't love that he's white, but that's okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, whatever.
Okay. All right. And for what it's worth, Christian said my song rides, said Trey's song dies. But his opinion on this episode doesn't really count.
So doesn't really matter at all, actually. So
yeah, exactly.
That was rides or dies.
That was rides or dies. This is your first time listening. I will put links to the tracks in the bio, so you can listen to them if you want to. Okay, so I think with that, it's about that damn fucking time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a very special edition of Trey's Twitter Takes, because there's only 2 of us, and both of us actually use Twitter. Thank you. All right, so our first tweet is a little topical based on our subject matter today. This one comes from Ephraim McFarland at EPHMCF. Very clever Twitter handle there, Ephraim. And he says, Taylor Swift says curse words like she just got permission. Do you think? And I feel like she might have actually just got permission from her labels.
Right.
Like they're like, yeah, just fucking say whatever you want nowadays. You're old.
No, for sure.
Our target audience is like 23 to like 29. So like they'll fuck with it. Yeah.
Well, that's why they can get away with it now. That's what I realized. I was like, everybody that like loves Taylor Swift, like they used to be 18 years old. Now they're like 30. So it's like you can be a little more edgy with it because they're all adults now.
Right. Exactly. No. And that's spot on. And so that's the record label did actually give her permission to curse more. So that's good for her.
Yeah.
All right. So our next tweet comes from @JP McDade. JP McDade said, getting ready for the trick-or-treaters, and I'm worried that I won't have enough fentanyl for everybody, which could be an issue for him. You really got to spread that stuff out to make sure all the kids get at least a little bit. What an insane idea that people actually believe is that people are going to give out drugged candy.
Where did that come from? Like, I don't understand where this myth started.
I guarantee you this is what I think happened is like one day somebody's kids got into their drugs and they were probably like 12 or 13. And then they had to go to the hospital and the parents were probably like, oh, they must have got it from the neighbors trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
And they just, and the kids were like, yeah, for sure. I was just eating candy. And then all of a sudden I was talking about
foaming at the mouth,
talking about Chuck Palahniuk for 3 hours straight. Like,
literally, some like white wine zombie Xanax mom whose kids like found her shit.
Absolutely. That means for real. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Really, I'm sure it did happen like once or twice maybe, and then it just became like a scare tactic thing for people to get upset. All right.
Yeah.
This one is from @Chet Porter, which we know Chet Porter is, right? He's a musician.
Yeah.
Chet Porter said, LA is wild. Accidentally got in the wrong car thinking it was my Uber, and the guy got out and started screaming at me and tried to fight me. But then a homeless guy ran over and backed me up. Said I made a mistake, and if he wants to fight, it will be 2 against 1. So based. I'm just trying to find a friend like that homeless guy that just have my back no matter what. Just on the street.
Yeah.
Like, I'll fight this guy with a car. Who gives a fuck?
100%. That reminds me of that Tosh bit where he tells that homeless guy to lose it on the car behind him. You remember that bit?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's fucking, and that was in LA too. That's fucking perfect.
Let's see. I have one more tweet. And it is actually just a picture of a shirt. And the shirt says, my body is a machine that turns cigarettes into smoked cigarettes.
Is that you? Is that your shirt?
No, I don't have that shirt. It doesn't make it untrue, but I don't have that shirt actually.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. That's actually it for Trey's Twitter takes today. It's pretty slow week on Twitter, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of T Swift in like basketball. What I was seeing. Also, speaking of basketball, I didn't see that my boy short hair Kyrie is back. The league is not safe, I'll tell you that much.
How's he been playing? I really haven't paid any attention.
He's been playing good. He's Kyrie. When does he play bad,
I mean, he's played bad
let me tell you, with your third eye open and Allah behind you, there's nothing you can't do.
Didn't he get swept in the playoffs last year? Where was Allah at then?
Allah was busy.
Yeah.
Then there was a lot going on, COVID and stuff.
COVID wasn't even really happening. It was this summer.
Nah, he's doing other stuff.
Kyrie's overrated. You know that in your heart of hearts.
Anyway, I have two tweets. One of them is not a tweet. One of them is a Reddit post, and it was on Ask Reddit, and it was essentially, men, what do you want in your life? And somebody responded and said, personally, I just want my body fixed. I hate having a disease that is written into my genetics. Fucking type 1. And then someone underneath it responded, 1.
Jesus. People on Reddit are just trying to be funny so hard all the time. And sometimes it really hits. Sometimes it hits. Like that hit. That was good. That's what Reddit was.
Okay, and then this is a tweet, and it's a Crayola crayon, and it says black like the color is black, so it says black, and underneath it says negro. And somebody tweeted it saying it was problematic, and so then someone responded and said it's Spanish, and they responded and said no, it's racist. And then somebody responded to both of them and said it's time to cancel Spanish. Which I think really sums up the entire Twitter sphere. It's just it's entirely consisting of people like that, which I really love personally.
I mean, I kind of that's Twitter in a nutshell. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Exactly.
All right, I got one more, and this is another shirt. This account's called Shirts That Go Hard, by the way.
Yeah, I love that account.
Okay, cool. And this one just has a picture of a frog on a skateboard, and the top of it says FROG. Fully rely on God's indifference to my suffering.
I love the ones that are just like pessimistic as fuck, or the ones that make absolutely no sense.
Those shirts go hard.
Those shirts do go hard. There's also another one called shirts with threatening auras, which it's all like shirts like similar to that. There is another one on there, and it's a guy with a black shirt. Did you see that one with the white text? And it just says Grateful Dead shirt with a skull on it and tie-dye. It's like written out.
That's sick. I need that.
Which I thought was great.
I need that shirt.
Oh, man. Okay.
Well, hey, we got through it. Just the two of us.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty damn fucking good, if you ask me.
I think it was great. I don't even think we need Christian anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I think this is a 2-person pod that will cycle in people in and out of from now on.
Plus, if I get his ownership percentage, then I'm majority owner. So yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense.
No, we have to reevaluate percentages at that point.
I feel like at that point I would just get that 33%. So
wait, I thought we were doing 50, 25, 25.
No. What?
Yeah, I thought that was what we landed on.
That is not what we landed on.
So I've been keeping this ad revenue to myself for no reason?
Yes, you Correctamundo. Yeah, why did I just say Correctamundo? I'm done.
Okay.
I'm out. That was it.
You can tell he's starting to lose his comfortability with the 2-person pod.
Man, let me tell you, I went a little hard this weekend. My brain still hasn't bounced back to be completely
let's talk about that real quick. How was STS9?
Man, Sound Tribe Sector fucks. That band is on one right now. They're really good. So they opened up with a song called Tokyo, which like it's not exactly like a bust out, but it's not terribly common either. And the first set was first set was probably one of the best first sets of STS9 I've ever seen. The second set was pretty damn good. They started out really hot. They played a song called Ecladius that I'm not like a terribly big fan of, and they jammed it out a bunch. So that kind of took up a decent amount of the second set, but it was still really good. And then they did an encore, and they came out on stage and were like, this is for like 2 of our friends that have passed. And they played the song called Firewall, which is like kind of like a slow jam. And they sent fireworks off like behind the stage, and they played Baraka.
Nice.
Yeah, Baraka Closer was quite amazing. So yeah, go see STS9 whenever you can. Anyone that's listening.
Fuck yeah. We're gonna do we're doing New Year's with them, so we're fucking stoked for that. We'll probably do a night of string cheese, and then the 2 nights at STS9, one of them being the 31st.
Yeah, so you should definitely do 2 nights of STS9, and then do the 1 night of cheese. Would be a vibe. Yeah, would be fun.
I'm super excited. They're really fucking good.
So
cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm fucking jealous.
Thanks, man.
It's kind of bullshit that you got kicked out that one night, but
I wasn't going to talk about that publicly, but
okay. I mean, you don't have to go into details.
Oh no, I'm definitely not going into detail, but no, it wasn't ideal. It was not. It was not ideal at all. This venue, their security was crazy, and it's not usually like
what
that.
Venue was it?
It's called Salvage Station. It's like right on the French Broad River in Asheville.
Nice.
Yeah. The venue's really cool. They have like 6 bars in there and like a ton of different like food trucks and craft beer and stuff. And like, there's kind of not really a bad like visual spot in the house, and they don't oversell it. So yeah, it was really nice, but yeah, their security, was quite lacking. Some serious issues there. So hopefully they get that figured out.
Yeah, there was this really sick venue in Tempe called Shady Park. and it was like a ramen place during the day, and then they had like an outdoor stage and bar for at night, and they, like small artists would come through there and play. And I don't know what happened, but apparently some local politician like got it shut down there.
Really?
So I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, like Tempe's changed the shit ton since I was there. Like apparently Mill was like our street where all the bars were. They've shut down a shit ton of the bars. Like a lot of them didn't make it through COVID, and then they got rid of Shady Park, and like apparently it's really shitty now. So I feel bad for the people at ASU now.
Do you think they tried to like pull back against like ASU just being kind of like a raucous party school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, they've been trying to do that forever.
Right.
It just never really works.
Yeah.
Do you know who has Kevin Durant in our league, by the way?
I have no clue.
Well, Shania's beating you right now in fantasy. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. I'm in 3 different fantasy football leagues, so I'm kind of focused on that, and then I'm going to shift to basketball in a few weeks.
Holy fuck, that's a lot of fantasy football, man.
It really is, and I only ever remember to set 2 of my lineups, so, it's whatever.
Yeah. Well, I was undefeated in my fantasy league. I was 6-0, and I just lost for the first time, and my dad texted me and said, "Looks like the Fun Devils got served some shut-up juice."
Jesus.
Okay.
Did your dad beat you, or is he just in the league?
No, he's just in the league.
Some shut-up juice. Fucking boomer.
Wait. Some shut-up juice. Oh, wait, wrong one. Some shut-up juice.
Oh, wait. Wow, that's a botch. On that note, I think we should probably go ahead and
all right, yeah. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed a lack of dick jokes or fart jokes this time around. A little less testosterone. Don't get used to it because
he's coming back. We did miss him.
Coming back.
I missed him a lot. All jokes aside,
I did miss him.
Yeah.
And we, for real, this time, next episode, we're doing Swimming and Circles by Mac Miller. We're doing both for real. So look forward to that. If you stuck around, thanks a shit ton, and we will catch you guys later.
All right. Have a great night, Blake.
You too, Trey.
Goodbye, everyone.